Okay, so I'm Rachel and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a bit of a TBR for the Spookathon, which is taking place from the 15th of October for a week. There are 5 different challenges on the Spookathon, and I have picked 4 different books, which one of them I'm going to double up a challenge because I don't think I'm going to read 5 in a week. So the first book that I am going to read is Final Girls by Riley Sager. This book is about 3 girls who are part of a murder spree. That's 3 individual murder sprees, and the press decide to label them the final girls because they're the girls that didn't get killed during the spree. So the main character is called Quincy, and she was part of the Pine Cottage murders, and she becomes a bit of an unwilling celebrity because the press love the fact that she's she's the final girl that survived her murder spree. She's a bit of a recluse though, so she doesn't like the press hanging around, and she's become a sort of an Instagram star baker, and she posts all her recipes and everything on a blog. And that's kind of how she lives her life. She's tucked away baking all day. And then one day, Lisa, who is the first of the final girls, kills herself. And within a couple of days, the other final girl, called Sam, turns up on Quincy's doorstep. I have read sort of about a third of the book so far. I decided to get a bit of a head start on it. And nothing sinister has happened yet to make you think that it could be anything other than suicide, or that there's anything strange about Sam. But because this is a thriller, it makes you think that that probably is going to happen. But I'm quite interested to get further into it and just see what happens, and whether it really was a suicide or whether it was something a bit more spooky. My second book is All the Beautiful Lies, and that is by Peter Swanson. It is a book about a guy called Harry, and Harry has just finished college, and just as he's finishing and going to his graduation, he gets a phone call from his stepmother to say that his father has just died in an accident on the cliff tops, and they live in Maine, so he travels back to Maine to sort of deal with the death. And when he gets there, it starts to become apparent that it might not have been an accident, that it might have been murder. So the book splits between now, which is Harry's time and him dealing with his father's death, and then there are sections called Then, which focus on his stepmother and her growing up as a teenager and the experiences she had growing up. And it kind of makes you suspect Alice, who's the stepmother, a bit of being a bit maybe involved somewhere along the way with her husband's death. But it follows all the way through, and I'm using this book as my thriller set in another time, because although the bits with Harry in it are contemporary, the bits about Alice's childhood were probably set in the sort of 60s or 70s, so that fits perfectly into the different time period category that's on the list of challenges. My third book is The Furthest Station by Ben Aronoff, than a novel, and I'm not the fastest of readers, so readathons are quite difficult for me just to get the speed up and get plenty of books read. So I wanted a short one just so that I could fly through it and at least I'd get 4 done, rather than just have like 1.5 done, which would be pretty boring. So this one is about Peter Grant, who is a policeman who is also kind of almost like a Ghostbuster type character. It's set in London and the hauntings seem to be on the Metropolitan line on the London Underground. I don't think I read a ghost story for probably about 20 years, so I'm really interested to read something that's adult fiction that's a ghost story, because I've just not done it as a grown-up. So I just thought that would be something different, and obviously it meets the purple criteria on one of the challenges, and it's very pretty inside as well. It's got all the maps of old London, and because I don't normally read fantasy, I don't normally get books with maps, so it's quite nice to have that in the back. And then my final book is a book with pictures in it, and it also meets the challenge to have a spooky word on the cover. So this one is Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie, and it's adapted to be a graphic novel. I don't normally read graphic novels, but again, I wanted something that would be a bit quicker to read so that I could get another book in. And also I did, when I found out about Spookathon, think I'd like to read an Agatha Christie book. But when I went to the library and looked at them, I was like, these are actually quite long and I've already got 2 lengthy books on my list. So then I went to the graphic novel section because I thought that'll fit something that's got pictures in there somewhere. And I came across a whole series of Agatha Christie books that had been adapted. This one's adapted by Françoise Rivière and illustrated by Solidor. But it's a really cool cover, and again, nice and thin, so it'll only take me probably an hour and a half to read that. And it also takes in 2 challenges, so if I do get more time than I expected to during the week, then I might pick up another book that has got a spooky word in the title and do all 5. If not, that'll cover all 5 of them. So I'm looking forward to the week and see how it all pans out. Bye.